Hey guys, I just saw one of YouTube's, basically their advice to creators. One of their recent posts asked how do you talk to your subscribers? Do you start your videos with "Hey guys"? Yeah, I think a lot of us do. I never read through it, so I'm not sure of what it is that the suggested or other suggestions were about greeting your viewers, subscribers, or just viewers, because some of you guys won't subscribe. But hey, welcome back to my channel, and my channel is about food, etc. It says Tanisa's Kitchen and more. I am not sure how much more I have done. It's been mostly about food. But today I am going to be diverting, like really diverting from my norm. Though, do I even call it my norm since I have not been doing any videos recently? But yeah, I'm going to be diverting. In COVID last year, I kind of relaunched my channel and I did a few videos whilst I was off from work, whilst the store was closed. So when I went back to work, it became hard. So I kind of stepped away from it and stopped doing videos. Today, what am I going to be talking to you about? I'm going to be talking to you about my journey with uterine fibroids. Yes, I don't think I have seen a single Jamaican who has made a video about uterine fibroids. Not that I've gone through all of them, but I have been looking at a few videos recently. And my reason for looking at them is because for quite a few years, I have been putting off surgery for my fibroids, even though I've had 4 OBGYNs who have told me that I need to do a complete hysterectomy, and one of them was willing to do a robotic. So that's where you would do the hose in laser, they go inside and they cut and then either remove from inside or they pull it through tubes in the side of your stomach. Yeah, I've been putting it off because of a number of reasons. I probably am a sucker for pain. But in 2010, to give you some back history, in 2010 I started having horrible menstrual cramps. I've always had very heavy menstrual cycle, very heavy. When I say very heavy, I mean very heavy. You wouldn't even believe how heavy. I've always been a close to the bathroom person once I'm having my period, especially for day 2 and 3. And in 2010, it started being days 2, 3, and 4. I just saw something white on my lip. Days 2, 3, and 4. So I had 3 horrible days. Anywho, 2010, I was still home in Jamaica, and my GP then, my general practitioner, I went for iron tablets because I've always been taking iron tablets, and my reason is because all my doctors have always said I'm anemic. He, however, is a curious one, so he said, anemic with what? What's causing your anemia? I'm like, I don't know. So he said, well, you need to get checked out. I need to do some tests on you because I need to know why you are anemic. So we went and did some ultrasounds, and well, I did an ultrasound and some blood work. Blood work came back pretty normal except for the fact that I was anemic. So nothing to suggest why. However, the ultrasound showed that I had fibroids, and I also had a cyst at the time. So he recommended that I go to a hematologist in Jamaica and find out what was causing the anemia. I was still on, he did prescribe the folic acid and iron, which I would have been on forever. When I had Malik in 1998, I got transfused. I got 2 pints of blood at that time. Yeah, so I was transfused after having him. So when I went to the hematologist in Kingston, we basically, when the results came back, he was like amazed. He's like, wow, I've never seen this. You do have a thalassemia, which is a blood disorder, but I don't know what it is. So he said, we need to do some more blood work, some more checks to see what was going on. So he was supposed to do a report and send it back to my GP, and he never did. He wanted me to come back to him. Hematologists are considered specialists in Jamaica, and they weren't covered by my insurance. Yeah, I was a cop, and they were not covered by my insurance. So that was out of pocket cost of $1,500 at the time, which was per visit. It wasn't. I think it was more than that. It wasn't 1,500. It was more than that. I think the GP was somewhere 1,500. Anywho, rambling. He never sent that report to my general practitioner, and we contacted him on a number of occasions, and he never did. I'm not sure what happened with that because it was kind of unprofessional. Anyhow, I never went back to him. I migrated in 2015, and in 2016 I went to do a regular blood work because I don't know if I like doctors or what, but I'm always going to doctors. Not that I follow what they say 90% of the time, but I do get constant checkups and everything. I've been doing my wellness, which is your annual for women, for forever. Every year I do it, and even when my doctor says, oh, you don't have to do it every year, you look like you can do every 2 years, I still do my wellness every year. Anywho, 2016 I did some blood work here, and same anemia story. So that doctor decided that he wanted to know how low my blood count was versus just prescribing iron tablet for me, because I was here and my iron tablets were done from the ones I took here from Jamaica. So I went to get more iron tablets. I'm supposed to take 1 a day. I don't ever do that. Actually, I've not taken any in quite a while. So I went to the doc. He did a workup, and I was ironing my uniform to go to work, and I got a call from his office, actually from him. And cuts the long story short and tell you a little thing about Jamaica versus the US where doctors are concerned. In Jamaica, your doctor is like your BFF. You have contact with him and you can talk to him whenever you want, and you have his personal number sometimes. Yeah, your BFF. In the US, you don't have contact with your doctor. I don't know if it's because I just got here and they weren't my doctor since I was a baby or what, but no. Your nurses call you and give you your results. Your nurses does not Jamaica. So that's like a culture shock, and it took some getting used to, and I'm like, okay. So I have no contact with my doctor. If I call to try and talk to the doctor, then it's either you're gonna go in for a visit and pay some money, or you go through the nurse. You tell her what it is that the question is that you want to ask, and she asks the doctor, and then they get back to you with a response. The nurse. Love nurses. My sister is a nurse, my aunt is a nurse. I love you all. Yeah, but it was a culture shock for me because I'm used to having direct contact with my doctor. Anyways, telephone rang. It was doc's office, and he said, how are you feeling? I said, I'm feeling fine. What's up? He's like, you're not dizzy? I'm like, no, I'm fine. He's like, you're not fine. You need to go to the emergency room now. I'm like, what's up? So he said, your blood works came back and your hemoglobin level is 4.35. I'm like, I have no idea what my hemoglobin level is supposed to be. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to the emergency room for, he says, you have to get transfused. You have no blood. That's low and you might have a stroke, heart attack. You should be having fainting spells. I'm like, what? So anywho, got off the phone with him and I'm like, I'm not going anywhere. Normally when decisions like that come up, I normally call my sister and I talk to her. So I called her and I was like, hey, what's going on? She's like, nothing much. What's going on with you? I said, so I did some blood work the other day and Doc just called me back with the result. And he says I'm to go to the emergency room. So she's like, why? So I said, my hemoglobin level is whatever. And she's like, oh, okay. She said, how do you feel? I said, I feel normal. Ain't nothing changed. Feel the same way. Not feel no different. And she said, well, what are you gonna do? So I said, I'm not going because I feel fine and I am supposed to be going to work in the next 20 minutes or so. Anyway, she said, well, if you feel fine, but he recommended that you go, so I think you should go get transfused. So I'm like, I called my BFF, Shauna, and I told her as well, and she's like, you better go to the doctor, to the hospital. So she was a definite, you better go. Shirley knows me and she knows that we've been going through this whole stuff for much longer than Shauna does. But yeah, so it was a, you better go, and I think you should go because he said you should go. So anywho, I ended up ironing my uniform and I was about to get ready for work. I don't get headaches, thank God. I don't get headaches. So if I get a headache, then I know that something is probably wrong or I'm extremely tired. Like when I was back home and doing the 10 and 14 hour shift that one of my superiors had implemented at my job. Anyways, if I'm extremely fatigued for a number of days, then I might get a slight headache. I don't take painkillers. I didn't for a while. Anyways, back to back, I started getting a slight headache. So I said, you know what? If I go drop down, they must say they had called to tell me to go to the emergency room. Insurance probably log on to that and nothing get paid out and my child would be left without whatever. So I started thinking everything, all the reasons why I should go to the emergency room. So I went to the emergency room and I told them that that had sent me, and they're looking at me like, huh, what? So I said, yeah, my hemoglobin level is 4.35. They're like, what? So they started moving. I'm like, okay. Everyone in that emergency room started walking to my room. They're like, well, you don't look sick. You sure you don't feel tired? You don't feel dizzy? I'm like, no, I'm fine. They did their blood works and it came back and I was actually 4.2 some, not 4.35. So it had actually dropped since the time I took the blood, probably about 4 days before. It had dropped even more. So, you know, rush it to your room and get it settled in and did their workup to find out what your blood type was, even though I knew what my blood type was. Did their own due diligence and I was transfused again in 2016. I got 3 pints of blood and I was there for 3 days. So let me tell you something about transfusion and iron and whatever. Whenever my iron level goes up, I tend to basically lose it all in the next cycle. So as soon as my period comes, it just bled out like a pipe. Like you turn on a tap. Yeah, I saw it bleed. So they gave me the blood. By the time my cycle came, bled out. A few months later, I did another blood test, and that was like, you need to go back to the emergency room to be transfused. And I was like, hell no. I've been transfused twice in my life, and as soon as my period comes, it's gone. The blood just goes. So no, I'm not going. So since 2017, early 2017 to now, I have not done another check to see what my blood level is. I don't get dizzy still, and I don't get tired unless I'm sick, like with the flu or something else, whatever else goes around in this world. Yeah, so anywho, I did my wellness, and I have been feeling some pain in my lower pelvic area. So I have finally decided that I started doing some research before my wellness was due. And I'm like, I think I'm gonna go do this surgery because the pain is now lower and it's kind of annoying, nagging. Though I don't feel it unless I touch the area. So I told Doc when I went to see him last week Thursday, that was the 17th, that hey, I'm thinking about doing that surgery. So I'm gonna do some research for work, find out how much coverage I have while I'm off, and all the due diligence that I need to take to make sure that my bills will be covered at the end of the day when I am out for 6 weeks. Because you know, so that is vitally important. Your house, you have to keep that roof over your head. So yeah, he recommended someone with the group that he's with, and he's like, I think he is fabulous. He's better than I am, so I won't do your surgery. I'm like, okay, if you say so. Fine. So I have an appointment with that recommended doctor for the 16th of July. Anyways, yesterday, which was the 22nd, I got a call from my nurse, and she said, hey, I did an ultrasound too, because for my wellness, ultrasounds are not one of the things that I do, but I did it because I am considering the operation, and that's something you would have to do. They want to go in again and see how many fibroids you've got, and how big they are, and all of that. So she called and she said the ultrasound showed that you had a complex cyst on one of your ovaries, so you have to come in and do a blood test. So the blood test, you have blood tests that basically helps to identify whether or not you have any cancer cells in your body. So it will tell them whether or not the cyst is cancerous or it's benign, or if it's a possibility that the cyst is cancerous or it's benign. So I went in today, which is the 23rd, and got sticked. It's one valve, but yeah, got sticked twice here, and she couldn't find the vein. I hate when that happens, but it's okay, isn't it? Yeah, I told her it's fine. And then another nurse came and she found it on this arm, which is the arm that I never use. I never use my right arm to do my blood works. I always use this. And when I said that blood works there, I do quite a bit of blood tests. Anyways, so I want to take you all on my journey with me. I've never wanted to do any kind of surgery. I always thought I was gonna come here on earth and I was gonna live and I'm gonna die the way I am. So I don't do tattoos, and I never intended to do a surgery. But I am thinking of doing the surgery, and I want to take you all on this journey with me. So tell me all about your experience, if you're having any experience with uterine fibroids, and if you've had surgery, tell me about it. I hear that it's gonna be excruciating pain and all of them something there for a few days, and it takes a while to fully recover. I'm not afraid of pain really, but I hate dependency, and doing the surgery will mean that I'm gonna need to be dependent. That's gonna be the first time in my life since I've known myself as an adult, and yeah, that's gonna take some getting used to. So let me tell you another little thing about before I cut this video off, and this video is gonna be unedited. I also want to show you my stomach area. Fibroids. In 2010 back home when I did my test, they said I had like I think about 3 or 4, along with the cysts, which actually disappeared before I left in 2015. That cyst had gone. So the fibroids were about 4 of them, and there was one that was bigger than the rest. It was about 3 centimeters at the time. Yeah, but those were the ones on the outside, because in Jamaica we didn't do the internal examinations for fibroids. I don't know if it was available, but I didn't do any of those. All of my ultrasounds were on the outside. When I got here and did the ultrasound in 2016, I was told I had, the biggest one was about the size of a grapefruit. That big. Yes, and I still did not intend to go do a surgery. But in 2019, I did do a hysteroscopy and DNC. The hysteroscopy is where they go inside and they look at the uterus from inside and to see how many fibroids you have on the inside of the uterus. And the DNC is where they scrape and remove the fibroids and polyps. So polyps are abnormal growths inside of the uterus as well, but they're not fibroids. At that time, there was no cyst on the inside. So we did that, and that helped a lot. I have not had menstrual cramps since 2019. No pain. Slight what we call ningy pain in Jamaica. There's just a slight annoyance. You know that you're having your period, but there is no real pain. Between 2010 and 2019, I was like, did you hear me say I don't take painkillers? I had to. I actually lived on painkillers for those 3 days or 2 days. But what I noticed was that early out, my sister was the one who convinced me to take painkillers. So for a few months in 2010, when the pain started, I would wrap up. I mean, wrap up in pain and bear that. And that was the only time I couldn't eat. If you hear about me or know about me, you know that food is like my BFF. It's my best friend. I love it. I love to cook food. I love to eat food. I just love food. Absolutely love food. And those days I couldn't really eat. So for 2 or 3 days, and then the pain would linger longer because I wasn't taking the painkillers. I did not want to take any kind of medication unless I absolutely had to. So the only pill that was going down my throat prior to my sisters convincing me to take the painkillers was the iron tablets. Don't do pills. Iron and folic acid, which I was taking together. Anyways, since 2019, the hysteroscopy and DNC helped a lot, and the pain stopped. So heavy period same way, and the pain stopped. Another thing that one of my doctors tried to use, well, 3 times they tried to use birth control pills to help stop the bleeding. So my body is something that dictates what happens with it, and it's not easily understood by anyone how that works, because what doctors think should be happening when they do certain things, or what they think should be happening by virtue of what's going on in my body, is not what really happened. So the first time I tried to take the pills in Jamaica, I bled for a whole month, and doc said, hey, stop. Obviously it not work. So I stopped then. I came back here, another doctor tried, and he tried a different type of pill. And when he tried that, I bled for 3 days, less 4 months. Because he was like, let your body get used to it. Stay, I mean, none of regular spotting. I mean bleed, regular, long bleeding, blood. Heavy bleeding for 3 months, almost 4 months. 3 days less 4 months. And then he was like, hey, stop, because this not work. And then we tried again in 2018, I think, for a month with a different type, a new type of pill. Actually, that one I had researched it, and he said, yes, go ahead and get it. You know what, neither. It did not work either. So my body does not ever change its cycle. It is 24 days to 26 days every month, and it shall continue no matter what you try to take to stop it. It's not stopping. So my cycle is that. I don't have a problem with abnormal cycle. So yeah, I don't even track my cycle, because it comes and it just comes with a slight spotting, you know it started. That's it. I don't have like spotting 2 days out and then you wonder if, no, not like that. It's not abnormal. It's just your cycle comes, 5 days time it's done. Between 2010 and 2016 thereabout, it was like 7 days, 8 days, and then it kind of went back to the 5 days. And when I did the hysteroscopy and DNC, it went back to its 5 days. Stop. No spotting after the 5 days, no nothing. You're good to go. So I have a little thing to show you. I'm gonna show you my stomach area, and my examination on Thursday. I was told that I had the size of a fetus somewhere here. I'm gonna show you my stomach area, and you're gonna try to understand with me where that fibroid is, because you can't really see it. When I am laying on my stomach in the mornings and the bladder is full, there is a bulge here. Yeah, I know that's something there, but on a normal, it doesn't really show as how some person's stomach gets huge and it shows. So yeah, I don't exercise. And another thing I want you guys to help me with, before surgery, I'm wondering if I should start exercising because I don't do anything active except walking at work, and every blue moon I go swimming. Blue moon, and it's not even any kind of rigorous swimming, so I don't know how much of an exercise I get there. So I think my core would be weak. Do I do some exercise to tighten the core prior to my surgery, or do I leave it and then after the surgery I do exercises to tighten? I was inclined to do it before. I'll take some advice from you guys, but let me go show off myself to you in just a sec. Hold on. Alright guys, so this is not a skirt. It's my tie head, which my niece made for me, and this is what my stomach looks like. So it's not huge. It's not huge, and the fibroid, the large one, I think is right here. So I don't understand, and neither does the doctors understand where that huge thing is and how it is held up inside. One of the things that my doc said is that the longer I wait, the less likely they will be to do a robotic surgery, which is where they bore holes. You're gonna do 1, 2, 3, and I think 4, and you don't have to do a large cut, a cesarean size cut. He says depending on how big I allow it to get, it might dictate whether or not I am able to do the robotic surgery, or I'm gonna have to do the big cut. So that's the next thing that we will be talking about come the 16th of next month. And after I am done with that consult, I am gonna come back and we are gonna chat some more. So this is basically my journey, and I'm taking you along with me. And then my reason is, I hope when I write that Jamaican talks uterine fibroid as my heading, more of us will look at it, because I don't think it's something that we have enough literature on, and taking it from my experience might help. My body is different from anybody else's I know. Anybody else's I know, trust me. Not even a family member I know that is going through the same thing, or I don't know. I also might be thinking about having them do a research basically to find out what my blood deficiency is, because what the hematologist had said was that the red blood cells are supposed to be round, and mine are everything. They're round, they're hearts, they're squares, they're stars, they're half moons, they're everything, which he found amazing. He was like, oh my God, what is this and what's going on? But because of his behavior, I didn't end up doing a check with follow up with him. And here, the institute that wanted to do their research wanted to charge $250 for each visit. And I'm like, okay, while I would love to find out what's going on, I'm surviving fine, and I don't have that kind of money to give to you. So, and my insurance at the time was not covered. I keep saying at the time because I have changed companies, and this company is, yes, I was saying this company is better with insurance, but I still have not gone back to see how much it would pay to cover that research basically. So I might take you on that journey with me to find out what the blood deficiency is. Maybe it's just a fibroids. Well, no, because at 18 I had it. I don't think I had fibroids at 18, and at 18 I was anemic. So yeah, I might just go check to see what the blood deficiency is that I have, and then see if that might help anybody out there, including family members. All right, I am not sure if there's anything else I want to chat about right now. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna post this video, and you guys can make all the comments that you want, and if I need to do a follow-up to give you any kind of background information that you might want to know that I might have left out, then you can ask the questions and I will fill you in on some of it. Some of the things that uterine fibroids tend to also affect is intimacy, and I've not had a problem with that. I've heard of persons who had bleeding after, or really harsh pain. I've not had a problem with that. I've not had any complaints with that. So again, we all suffer in different ways. And I did do a biopsy in 2016, I think the biopsy was in 2017. In 2017, I did a endometrial biopsy. This is where they went in to find out if I had endometriosis versus just regular uterine fibroids, and it came back negative. So I don't have, or did not have endometriosis at the time. God only know what's going on now. But I'm gonna do another biopsy, but I guess that's gonna be after the blood work is done, and that's gonna be with my current OBGYN, not with the one that might do the surgery. So I might do a few videos in between, or a couple of videos in between now and when the actual pre-op consult takes place. So come along that journey with me and let's see how that goes. And since I miss you guys, I might take the time out to do a cooking video too. What would you like me to cook for you? Tell me what you want to see and what you want to see. Basically you're going to see what I'm doing, what you want me to cook, and I'll do that. Thank you for stopping in, and if you have not subscribed already, please subscribe to my channel. I doubt very much that I am gonna put any content on this thing to ever get me to the place that I want, that YouTube wants you to be, to pay you. And I'm not sure if I have the energy that it takes to do those videos, because it's like a one per week, and they have to be nice and long, and they have to be entertaining on and all that. So I love watching the content on here, and I love to share mine, but I'm not 100% sure of how much of I want to get those subscriptions and those watch time. So, but still, subscribe if you like the channel. I will just keep in touch. Hear that? Yeah, Jamaican. Patwa. Love you all. Did I just give you a kiss? Blue kiss. See you later.